I have the great honor and pleasure to announce an individual that has been a part of the transportation family, beginning with his father, who took the city public bus to and from work, and that commitment has rang true as early as last year, where his belief in transit was so strong that on his own ticket running as the mayoral candidate, he also put the largest Phoenix transportation initiative on that same ticket. And obviously, both of those were wildly successful as we sit here today celebrating an announcement for a very, very important addition to our light rail system. And with that, it is my honor to introduce our mayor, and honestly, the mayor of transportation, Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Albert. I did not know that was your title. I just know him as our light rail guru in the city of Phoenix. He does a great job, and we really appreciate your leadership. Yes, it is a hot and heavy political season. We're getting ready to vote in just a few weeks, but it was just a year ago that we had an incredibly important election, in some ways a more important election here locally, in which the people of the city of Phoenix overwhelmingly said yes to a major transportation infrastructure investment. And I can't wait in just a few weeks when the city of Phoenix is going to increase our bus hours. Starting at 4 a.m. you'll be able to catch a bus, and you'll be able to catch a bus until midnight in the city of Phoenix. Major improvements to our system. That is going to change the lives of so many people who work second shift or 20 hours a day. Most routes it'll be 15-minute service. The longest will be a half an hour, even on weekends. We're going big on transit in the city of Phoenix. I read recently that many other cities across the United States have transit issues on their ballot this November. Some really good stuff. But then I read the details of them, and the other cities are doing good. None of them are going as big as we went here, as comprehensive as we went here in our city. Supporting tripling the amount of light rail, the bus service that I just mentioned, Dial-A-Ride, making our city more bikeable and walkable, and including a significant improvement in our streets budget. We went big and we went comprehensive, and the dividends we're paying huge dividends with today's announcement about what we're going to do here today. Because yes, you're going to hear a lot about light rail going to South Central Phoenix, and that project is moving ahead very, very fast. Yes, Thelda Williams, we're going to get that thing to Metro Center sooner rather than later. We're going to get it across I-17, and we're going to revitalize Metro Center in your district. Those things are proceeding incredibly swiftly. But the first advancement on light rail, with the investment that the people of Phoenix made with Prop 104 last year, is going to be right here in East Phoenix, just a few feet from where we're standing. The announcement that we're making today of a brand new light rail station, not exclusively to benefit Ability 360, the Disability Empowerment Zone, but mostly because this is an incredibly important facility serving leading citizens, active citizens that could really use a station this close to one of the best facilities. By the way, if you haven't been to SpoFit for a workout, get over there because it's awesome. Stockyards and some of the other benefits, even people who want to visit our beautiful Tovrea Castle, our historic Tovrea Castle behind us, a very strategic location. So today, this announcement of this new station and the design of the station is a great day for our city, and I want to thank my colleagues on the City Council that are here. Thelda Williams is going to say a few words in just a moment, who is our chair of transportation at the city and our leader at the RPTA, our regional organization, the leadership on transit. My partner on the City Council, Vice Mayor Kate Gallego. We are in her hood. We are in her district, and I asked her to chair, and she did a great job chairing our campaign, our very successful campaign last year. We're going to hear from as well the biggest friend of transit that this community has ever seen. We wouldn't have any of the transit that we're so lucky to have, including light rail, not only here, but in Tempe, but in Mesa and other cities when they are smart enough to pass their dedicated funding sources for transportation. Our leader, our friend, he's decided to continue his leadership role as head of the Citizen Transit Committee, Congressman Ed Pastor. Thank you for being here, Congressman. And of course, we're in your house, Phil Pangrazio, here at Ability 360. You were so smart to decide to co-locate so many wonderful businesses and nonprofits that support the disability community and the larger community. The work that you do is very, very important. Your advocacy for this particular station, we wouldn't be here without that leadership. And you came through big for us in that campaign. That election, you worked your tail off to make sure it got passed. You sent a message about how important transit is to everyone, but how uniquely it is important to allow people who happen to have disabilities to live more independent lives, get to jobs, get to medical appointments as necessary, improve their education, all the things that anybody would want. And transit really advances the lives of people who happen to have disabilities, and we're grateful for it. So thank you, Phil Pangrazio, for hosting us, and again for your continued service on the transit or the Citizen Transit Committee. I also want to say I see my friend Mayor Scott Smith, the interim head of Valley Metro Rail, is hanging out in the. You're never in the back. I mean, you're become a backbencher. Come on, Scott. Anyway, thanks for your leadership as interim head of Valley Metro. Let's give Mayor Smith a big round of applause. So today we are here to celebrate the first light rail project as a result of Proposition 104 and our ongoing Transit 2050 plan. The 50th Street Station will just be over to my right, your left. Not only will our transit plan triple the amount of light rail system in Phoenix, it will make our streets more complete, accommodating more walkers, bike riders, as well as people who happen to have disability, maybe who are living in wheelchairs or other assisted devices. That will start right here. This station, again, right over my corner, will benefit the employees and the clients here at Ability 360, those that may want to get a great dinner at the Stockyards restaurant, and all the benefits that this part of our city have to offer. One of the hidden gems of our community is this area near the airport, East Phoenix. Today, Phoenix residents are more multimodal than ever before, because as with all city projects, we wanted to give this area a true sense of place. So that's why I asked for more public involvement in the station's design. In fact, earlier this year, we launched our second Innovation Games to create concepts for this particular light rail stops, because we knew this station would be so close to Ability 360 and would be such an important asset for Ability 360's clients. So we asked entrants to come up with a design that addressed accessibility, rider comfort, and safety. We received dozens of entries in our competition, some from professional architecture and design studios, and some had hand-drawn and in water color. They were all interesting. They were all thought-provoking. But the best entry, according to the judges, came from our friends at Dig Studio. Dig won the Innovation Games by creating an innovative and functional design that strongly addressed accessibility and connectivity challenges while paying attention to something else very important in our city, although not today, but shade. That was a great design. So Dig's team is with us today. They're going to be an ongoing part of the design of this project. Their creative concepts to enhance access and inclusion will be integrated into the final design. So Dig, wherever you are, stand up and let's give them a big round. They're on the back. You're also backbenchers. Thanks, Dig. Great design. It's going to be awesome. And most importantly, as mayor, I, the council members, this entire community owe a big thank you to the people of our city. This new station is becoming a reality because we asked the people of Phoenix to make an investment in ourselves, in our shared future through transportation. They responded overwhelmingly. This project is going to make them proud. So I am super excited to be here. In just a few months, this is going to be a big construction zone right behind us. And when it's done, it's going to benefit the lives of the clients of Ability 360, but people from all over this city who want to come and work with Ability 360, come to SPOFIT, one of the best gymnasiums, by the way, in the entire city. I work out there occasionally. It's pretty awesome. So people all across this valley have the chance to come see this great facility. Okay, the next speaker, I mentioned her earlier. She's our leader on the council. She's the chair of our City Council Subcommittee on Transportation. She also serves a critically important regional leadership role as chair of the RPTA leading this entire region on transportation issues. That's our Councilwoman Thelda Williams.
Well, I have to say, this is my first time at this facility. OMG. It is fabulous. I want to thank everyone who helped design this, put this together. This is a true point of pride for the city of Phoenix. It is marvelous. I have to say, this is all happening because of the people at 360. And Mr. Pengrazi, you have been a leader in this, as well as several other people I recognize in the audience that were very vocal about telling us a station we had missed. And I am delighted that it is going to happen, that it is underway. This is formally starting it off. But I'm up here to thank the design team from Gannett Fleming and DWL, Dig Studio, who you heard did the design, CK Group, CR Engineers, Moore and Associates, Geomatics, and CorePro. The construction team is Stacy and Whitbeck, and Barbara Grautas is the station artist. It's going to take a team to build it, but it took a lot of teamwork to make it happen in the first place. I hope you have enough patience. It will be as fast as we can. It's a major project out of 2050, and we're very proud of that. So thank you all for participating, and thank you for being here and for all the great work you do.
Thank you, Councilwoman Williams, for your continued leadership on transportation issues. When I first was elected mayor, Phil Pangrazio invited me to come to Spofit to play wheelchair basketball. You know I love basketball. That was a tremendous mistake on my part. My knees still hurt. That is a physical game. Those players were awesome at Spofit. Don't ever do that again, Phil. I mean, come on.
Rugby next.
Rugby next, yeah. Next to the podium, I asked her to chair the transit campaign. She did an incredible job. It was overwhelmingly successful, and this is in her district, so she's leading the way to bring light rail to South Central Phoenix, leading the way to bring this station right here to East Phoenix at Ability 360. Our Vice Mayor, Kate Gallego.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing the mayor didn't tell you is that basketball game led directly to the fact that we are all here today. There was some lobbying going on during the basketball game, particularly for this light rail station. And the mayor said, we are going to do it. And today we are here to follow through on that commitment. The very first major infrastructure that will be added to the light rail as a result of Proposition 104 passing is happening right here at Ability 360. I did not realize it was the most beautiful rooftop. It's a pretty impressive view of our Phoenix skyline, our wonderful airport, historic Phoenix, and the future of Phoenix. So what a wonderful place to celebrate this milestone. I was here during the Prop 104 campaign, and there was some passion about this stop. And I think it really reflects well on us that this is where we are starting as a community with the light rail, that we value inclusivity. When we were talking about Proposition 104, one of the things that was most important to the people, the voters of Phoenix, was that public transit allows people to live independently, to get around on their own. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to chair Prop 104. Probably by now most people know, shortly after being elected, I had a seizure and lost my driver's license, and really learned the value of public transit when you don't have an option. I had been a choice rider, and then it became a need. And I liked being able to get around on my own, not have to ask anyone for a favor or a ride. And when I was last here during the campaign, I heard that same theme from people here. They want to be able to go where they want, when they want, independently. And that means many modes of transportation, bus, dial-a-ride, and light rail. The voters of Phoenix agreed with that. That was one of the top reasons voters gave for supporting Proposition 104, that they wanted an inclusive city where everyone could get around, where students could get to school easily, where seniors could age in place. 87% of seniors want to be able to stay in their homes as they age, and they want to be able to get around even if driving their own car is not the safest or best mode of transportation. So it was a community-wide value, but it's symbolized by the fact that we are here today. It is a wonderful community, and I have the pleasure of representing it along with several other individuals who are here today from the Ball School Board. Our Education Commissioner, Gail Knight, is here. She holds two hats, leading the Ball School Board and serving on the Citizens Transportation Commission, which our chair is going to describe in greater detail. And she's also joined by Todd Schwartz, who also represents the area on the school board. Education was another very important part in letting students get around into school. One of our very first bus routes that we added as a result of Proposition 104 was not far from here on 32nd Street, very much requested by the community. And that's another bus route that really shows what an inclusive community we are. Among the people who requested that bus route was many individuals in our refugee community. It's one of our leading areas in the community for refugee resettlement. And again, Phoenix stepped up and said, we want everyone to be well represented. And so that was where we began with bus service in the area. And as the mayor alluded, October is going to be a big month for us with bus service, with dramatic expansions, long sought over, that will be very important. It's been an exciting summer. We just submitted light rail going to South Central to the federal government, asking them to support our project, which they have been very supportive of. And that would be rail going from our downtown south towards South Mountain. That project was moved up more than a decade as a result of the Proposition 104 campaign. A historic leap forward. We're really making things happen as a result of the voters' commitment with Proposition 104. Our private sector partners are hiring. If you look at signs throughout the community, you can see opportunities for bus drivers. And they're partnering with our city's My Brother's Keeper initiative, which is trying to make sure that young men of color and all young people have great career opportunities. So these are great jobs with benefits that really help people build a life in our community. But our construction partners as well are hiring and involving great community leaders, community involvement. So it's a real win from across the board. And I want to thank all of the voters for making it possible. A great day for Phoenix and the Valley of Sun, and there are more to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor, very, very much. Congressman Pastor, as always, you are right. I was wrong. I thought in the redistricting that this area, because it's so close to the airport that the Vice Mayor represents, was in her district. It is not. This area is actually in District 6. But I do want to acknowledge the Vice Mayor as having to be the councilwoman closest to the area that supports transit. So how that? We'll kind of adopt this area in your different, for purposes of light rail. How's that? All right. In addition, we want to make sure we acknowledge our excellent professional staff. I want to make sure, because he gets full credit for doing so, that it was Albert that handed me a note to make sure that I acknowledge Deputy City Manager Mario Paniagua and our Public Transit Director Maria Hyatt. So he gets brown nosing points for doing so, but good job, Albert. I appreciate that. He's on it. Thank you for your leadership on the transportation issues. All right, I mentioned it earlier. Our city wouldn't have nearly the advancements in so many areas, not just transportation, but our airport, education, if it weren't for his leadership, his time in Congress. In fact, Congressman Pastor, if I could decide, I would name that post office right there, Pastor Post Office. That could be Pastor Castle. Pastor Mountain right behind us. I mean, we're such a beautiful area. If I could do it by fiat, but I can't. So many things deserve to be named after our great congressman, but after his 22 years of incredibly successful time serving in Congress, he was willing to continue to serve the people of the city of Phoenix as the chair of our Citizen Transit Committee. It was his leadership that said, let's move the station even closer to Ability 360 so it could even better serve the clients here. So his leadership is continue to advance our city. That's our Congressman Ed Pastor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? I had the occasion to come out here when the building was first constructed. I know that 1912 I was invited, or 2012. It feels like I was here in 1912. In 2012 I was invited to come out here because they had a candidates forum. And I participated, and one of the things I realized the importance of this site is that it houses 12 organizations that provide services and serves the needs of people with disability and handicap. So it's a very important organization and very important site because people come here for services to make sure that their quality of life. At that time, it was named ABLE, as I recall, the organization. And about 3 years ago, Phil invited the mayor and I to come out and visit with him, and we met the leadership of now Ability 360. And the concern was that the transit stops to the light rail were too far, so that people with disabilities were not able to readily get access to the facility that not only provided services but also provided the ability to have recreational opportunities. And as the mayor said, I realized and found out that here you had Paralympic athletes train, you had the wheelchair basketball, and you had any number of activities, as well as people coming out here to use the facilities to ensure that their body was able to exercise. So 3 years ago, we came and we had the political will, but one of the limiting factors was the resources. But unknown to me and most people, that the mayor was already thinking of bringing forth an election sooner than it required, so that we could raise monies to continue to expand the system. And so from that, obviously, you were very supportive, and we were able to pass the initiative, and today we're seeing the fruits of your efforts. Now, part of that initiative required the establishment of a Citizens Transportation Commission, and its obligation is to oversee the implementation and make sure that the funds are handled responsibly. And we recommend to the council, through the subcommittee, some of the projects of any changes and recommendations that we have. And one of the first ones was obviously the 50th Street transit stop. And joining me this morning, we have two commissioners. I know that Roy Miller, who was appointed by Sal DeCiccio, is here, and Gail Knight is here also, and she was appointed by the mayor, I believe, as well as myself. So this morning we're here, and we worked with Phil, the commission worked with Phil, to ensure that in the siting of the transit station would meet the needs of the people that use the facility, as well as serve the businesses that are developing in this area. And so it's been a great honor for all the commission members, and we'll continue to work diligently to make sure that we implement your desires through your election and the Transit 2050. So thank you very much, and congratulations, Phil. All right. I just want to make sure I don't step on this and
Dance.
tangled up with you.
Yeah. Congressman, I'll dance with you anytime. That's great. I appreciate your ongoing leadership, and it really was you who made the suggestion and got it done in such a short period of time. And thank you for your chairmanship of the Citizens Transportation Commission. You've heard his name many, many times. There's been no long-term strategic leader in the city of Phoenix supporting as many transportation options for the citizens of Phoenix, including and especially those who happen to have disabilities, than Phil Pangrazio. And we're in your house. You continue to serve on the commission. You continue to serve as a leader on so many different issues. We appreciate it, and we wanted you to say a few words about the importance to you, your organization, and your clients. Phil Pangrazio.
Well, thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank a lot of people, but I'll do it quickly because we've done a little bit of that already. But certainly Mayor Stanton and all of the City Council folks that supported this, and certainly Congressman Pastor been with us right from the get-go. I cannot thank you enough. And also the city transit department, Valley Metro, they've done a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen, and so appreciative of them as well. And of course the citizens of Phoenix that had the good, just the knowledge to know that this was the right thing to do and make this happen. So we thank the citizens. I want to say one quick thing about Mayor Stanton too. You know, I've worked with a lot of mayors over the years. We've had a lot of great mayors in the city of Phoenix, but I don't think we've had a mayor that has supported people with disabilities in the way Mayor Stanton has. So I'll tell you, thumbs up to you. We have a lot to be thankful for you. Just on a personal note, you know, I've been really fortunate. I'm able to drive, and I've driven for a long time. I have an accessible, modified vehicle, so I feel very, very blessed and fortunate. But I will say that wasn't always the case. After my injury, and it was a long time ago, 38 years ago, but after my injury, I was a 19-year-old kid, and there were a couple years there where basically I had no access to transportation. And I know I got to experience what that is like, sitting in my parents' home, staring out the window, wondering, you know, my God, you know, when am I going to get out of here and be able to go do something? And so, you know, I think those of us who can easily get around, we kind of take that for granted. But for those of us that can't so easily get around, that just it is so isolating. The lack of accessible transit is such an isolating experience for people with disabilities, and I know I took it for granted before my disability. Getting around was never an issue. If you don't have a disability, getting around is not an issue. You jump in the car, you hop on your bicycle, you get out, put your thumb out, you hitchhike. I hitchhiked everywhere as a young kid. I know they don't do that anymore, probably not a good idea. I would not encourage it anymore. But when you don't have a disability, it isn't an issue. It really isn't. And we, those, you know, so you do take it for granted. But the disability community definitely knows how important this is to be able to participate in our communities, to just do the little things. You know, be able to go grocery shopping, be able to go to church, be able to go just visit with a friend or a neighbor. Again, this is going to be so important for people with disabilities to get here to the Ability 360 Center, to the Sports and Fitness Center, and to access what really is probably a one-of-a-kind resource that really doesn't exist anywhere in the country. It is a hidden jewel for the city of Phoenix. and we're proud of it, and we're really thrilled that more people with disabilities are going to be able to get here and access it. So it is a great day for people with disabilities, and we all thank everyone that made this happen. So thank you very much, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Phil, very, very much for your leadership. Yeah, it's incredibly important. People with disabilities, unfortunately, have a significantly higher unemployment rate. That's not acceptable. It's a great talent pool, and if transportation can make it easier for people to get to jobs and education, that's going to make our city more economically competitive. I just want to make one final point before we have the picture, and that is, a lot of people ask the question when it comes to transportation investments, particularly in light rail. The world is changing. We got Uber, Lyft, other ride-sharing companies. We'll soon have driverless cars going around our streets, and Phoenix is going to be a leader in ride-sharing and in driverless cars, and those are great. Does that make transportation investments obsolete someday? The answer is, heck no. A great city has as many transportation options for people as possible, whether it be people who choose to be in their car. We need to invest in our streets. Transportation 2050 does that. Some people want more light rail options. We're doing it. More bus options. We're opening up, as I said, the longer schedule in just a few weeks for people who work later shifts. You need to be a more bikeable city. That's so incredibly important as people decide what city they're going to live in. You need to be a more walkable city.